Hi everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of Start Inspired. I am your host, Samantha March. Thank you so much for tuning in for a new episode, or if you're watching on the YouTube channel, welcome. A lot of times when I film for the podcast, I typically am filming more in the mornings and usually have no makeup on, but I am all glammed out today. I put these podcast episodes on my second YouTube channel, which is a little bit more focused on lifestyle and healthy living, but I do have my main YouTube channel, which is beauty focused, and I just did a new Sephora haul. I have a new Natasha Denona palette, so we were trying that out today, and I actually am getting ready to go to a dinner tonight, so I even have a nice dress on. But I was like, you know what, I want to sit down and record for the podcast because there's been a few things that have popped up for me recently, and I feel like this episode is going to be another one of those shorter ones where it's just like I have a little something on my mind, I want to share it, let's talk about it. But I was just feeling inspired to sit down and kind of talk over some things that I've been thinking about and that I've been talking to a few other people about. So as well, you're getting a very glam Sam for today's podcast episode. But of course, if you are watching on YouTube, I would love if you would subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, leave a comment, anything like that. Or if you're listening on somewhere like Spotify or Apple Podcasts, if you want to rate and review, that's always so helpful. Or take a screenshot listening to the podcast, and you can always tag me on Instagram. I am by Samantha March. But what I wanted to talk about for today's podcast episode is actually having a people pleaser mentality. And I've posted a couple different shorts like this as well on this YouTube channel and a few different TikToks where I've been talking about this. But it's something that's come up for me recently, and I just was left feeling some type of way because I never really thought of being a people pleaser in this kind of light. So I'm someone who I consider myself to be a people pleaser. I'm someone who I genuinely want people to like me. Like, I do understand that, just simply put, not everyone is going to like you. Not everyone is going to click with you. Some people might like you, but they don't want to be your best friend. I mean, that's what it is for everybody. Some people will look at you and form opinions about you without even knowing you. Some people will hear you say one thing and they will decide that they don't want to like you. It just is what it is. And I've tried for a long time, especially I've been doing a career in social media since 2009. I mean, there's a lot that comes with being on the internet and living your life on the internet that comes with people not liking you because they don't like the way you do your eyeshadow. They don't like that you come on camera with bad skin. They don't like what you name your dog. I mean, people will choose not to like you for literally any single reason under the sun. Like, it just is what it is. So I've worked really hard to let go of the mentality of like everybody needs to like me, because on the flip side, I don't like everybody. You know, just to be honest, like, I don't like everybody either. So if I don't like everybody, why would everybody like me? You know, so I've tried to get rid of that and move on from that mentality. But when it comes to being a people pleaser, I definitely think that I am, because I want to make people in my life happy, especially you know, especially people who are close to me, my family, my friends, my inner circle. I want to do whatever I can to make sure they're happy. And one thing that's kind of funny to me that's been pointed out the last like few years to me, I don't drink a lot, but when I do, I mean, I can have like 2 drinks and be like, yay, like this is the best night ever. But also what I do is I start checking on everybody, and people will say to me that they know that I've been drinking when I go up to everyone and say, are you having a good time? Are you having fun? Can I do anything? Like, we'll be at like someone else's birthday party, like that I don't have anything to do with. Like, I'm there with like a mutual friend. I don't know anybody, but I'm like, do you need anything? Can I bring you anything? Can I help you in any way? Are you having fun? Can I make you have more fun? What can I do? Like, I just want people to have fun and to be happy. So I definitely think that I am a people pleaser. But one thing that I've always thought of that as like a good thing, right? Like, I'm like, why would that be considered bad? Why would that be considered a negative? Like, yeah, you want to make people happy. Like, what a nice thing, right? I've never quite looked at it the way that it was explained to me recently, and how it can actually be, one, avoiding personal responsibility, which I thought was quite a big deal, and kind of essentially placing blame on other people, even if you're not doing it in a mean way or a negative way, or you're not like pointing a finger at someone being like, they made me do it. Even if it's only you in your mind being like, well, I didn't want to do that thing. I didn't want to go to this place. I didn't want to spend the money here, but they wanted me to. You're not taking personal responsibility for the actions that you have made. And essentially you're kind of just hiding behind your actions. You're not owning up to anything. And quite honestly, personal responsibility is something that I think is a pretty big deal. It's also something that I've worked a lot at over the years, because it was something that I avoided a lot as well. I remember when I first started my YouTube channel, and again, it was beauty focused, and when I was first starting out, I kept using the same makeup products over and over and over again. And because I didn't have any money to buy new products or new collections, I wasn't on PR lists, I would just go to Walgreens and I'd grab the same Maybelline mascara and foundation and orange powder and go home. And I would start to get comments of like, your videos are so boring, you never show any of the new things. Just different variations of that comment. And what I did was I then turned around and was like, okay, I'm gonna buy everything that's new, and I'm gonna buy the new collections. And I put myself into debt really quickly. And for a long time, I would not take responsibility for that, because I was like, well, it was the comment section. Well, it was people being mean to me on the internet. Well, it was they wanted this. Okay. No one else made those purchases for me though. No one else bought the makeup. No one else, I can't blame anybody else for that. That was my own choice to continue to make those purchasing decisions, even when I knew I didn't have the money to be able to afford it. But I was hiding behind my actions and saying like, well, I wanted to make other people happy. I wanted people to find my channel valuable, or to find me valuable. So I'm not really taking any personal responsibility in here, because I just did it to make other people happy. And that's just really not the case. So there was a long time when I was really struggling with finances and getting myself out of debt, that I was having to really look back at that time and see that it was me. And that's why I'm not really a fan of people saying things like, this influencer like forced me to buy this, or you know, you see those things where people are like mad that they bought something that they saw online and they don't like it as much, and they try to like blame whoever they saw that was putting it out there. People can put whatever they want on the internet. There's hundreds and thousands and millions of things that we can buy at any point in time. Whatever it is that you choose to buy, for whatever reason you choose to buy it, you're still the one that chose to buy it. And I joke about this a lot on my channel, and I hope that it does come off as a joke of like, even like the new eyeshadow palette that I have on my eyes. I kind of went back and forth. I'm doing like a makeup low buy this year. I'm like, should I buy it? Should I not? And then when I bought it, I was like, well, you know, I saw the comments and people are saying, oh, like I can totally see Samantha March in this palette, so like I have to buy the palette. But those comments did not persuade me to purchase an eyeshadow palette. I wanted to buy it. It's one of my favorite brands, one of my favorite formulas. Color scheme was one that I enjoyed. That was my decision. I'm not blaming the comments. I'm not blaming anyone that wrote in to say that I should get it. Same as if I decided not to buy it, because there was plenty of comments saying like, don't buy it, you don't need it, stick with your low buy. You have, you know, you can dupe it and all of those things. If I chose not to buy it, I wouldn't also blame or like point at my comment section for it. That's my decision. I am the only one that chooses what I'm putting my money towards. So you have to take personal responsibility there. So that was a really big thing when we talked about, I just feel like I keep saying personal responsibility, PR, but that was a really big thing when I heard that and heard of how it's another way to hide behind your decisions. And I felt, honestly, like I felt like a little bit attacked. Like I was like, wow, that's a different way to look at it, because again, like I said, I've always thought of being a people pleaser as such a positive thing, and you're trying to do good for other people and you want other people to be happy. But at the same time, also what that can lead to, again, like I said, if you didn't want to go somewhere but you go, and you didn't enjoy it, and then you kind of have like a little bit of grudge against whoever it was that you were trying to please into going. Or a big thing that I see is especially money. I'm thinking like bachelorette parties, and say your friend wants to go on a pretty extravagant bachelorette party, or maybe not extravagant, maybe she just wants to go to like the next state over, but like spend a whole weekend there, and you're in between jobs or you're saving up for something and you simply can't afford it, but you go and you spend that money and maybe spend even more money than you thought you were going to. Now you kind of have a grudge against your friend who she might not even know. Like if you had just said something that she would realize either A, like, hey, I would really like for you to go, but I understand this is not the best fit for you right now, or maybe something else could be worked out, who knows. But I think that this also showed me that, especially within like personal relationships, how important communication can be, because sometimes you trying to please another person is not actually the way that they want to be pleased, which I feel like is a very weird sentence to say. How do I say this in a better way? But there's plenty of times where I guess on how I think my friends want to be treated, or if they want something, or how I should react to if someone's going through a hard time. I'm just kind of guessing. And the thing is like, it does come from a good place. When one of my friends is going through a hard time, oftentimes what I do is I think of how I want to be treated and how I react to certain situations, and then I kind of go from there. Or if it's someone that I feel like I know extremely well, and I feel like I know this is kind of their reactions, or this is what they've shown me in the past of how they like to be treated. But again, at the same time, a lot of times you are simply guessing, and that really means that you can open the doors to communication. And I felt like I saw this in a really good way from quite a few of my friends recently. When I was going through a hard time in my personal life, my dog had just been diagnosed with cancer. I was really going through a hard time. I had multiple friends reach out and literally straight ask me, what can I do? You know, how can I best help you? I didn't have people just like showing up at my apartment with things, because that would have like freaked me out even more. I didn't have people just guessing of how I would, because I've also never been in that situation. You know, you think you know maybe how you can react, but quite honestly, my reaction was, I thought that I would be in bad shape. I didn't think I was going to be in that bad of shape. So when I had friends saying like, I really want to help you, but I'm not sure the best way. If you want me to be there, I will be there. If you want alone time, I will respect that. If you just want someone to drop you off food, I will do that. But I really saw from friendships, and even newer friendships, I've only been in the city that I'm living in for 2 years, and all of my friendships are new. And so we don't really quite have, you know, that decades strong friendships together where we just kind of know what to do in that situation. But I really saw my friends and my inner circle in a different light, and it made me respect everybody so much more than I already do. And I also took a lot away from that, because I think, oh, in certain situations, I would just kind of react how I thought would be the best way. And even if I have the best intentions, sometimes it's truly just best to throw it out there and ask a question or communicate. Again, going back to something like a bachelorette party or something like that, of just saying, hey, this isn't good for me right now. I can't afford, whatever it may be. Having this conversation about the people pleaser mentality was another reminder of communication is absolutely key, not only in relationships with your partners and your significant others, with your work, with your employees, with your boss, with your family, but also with your friends and those around your life. That really, really showed me that. So that was another thing that I wanted to talk about in today's episode. And then again, just going back to the personal responsibility of owning up to your own decisions. I had said this in, I think maybe it was one of my shorts that I posted, but I do run a small business, and I started to see a bunch of comments coming in from people saying that they wanted a particular item, and it wasn't one that I had on my list. It wasn't something that I felt very passionate about putting out. And all of the products that I have put out from my brand, truly, except for this one product, has been something that is passionate to me, is something that I want, is something that I use. And then I just saw all these comments, and I was like, I want to make my client base happy. I want to make my customers happy. So I need to make this product. And I felt like I rushed the process. I felt like I didn't do a good enough job researching the different suppliers that I could have used. So it ended up being super, super costly at my end, which, you know, turn around, that makes it a pretty high price point for the customers as well. And this product like just doesn't really sell, doesn't really move anywhere. I end up giving away a lot of them. I had to order a lot of stock for them as well. It was one of my, I don't even know if I would say one of my really big learning lessons as a small business owner, but it was one of my first like biggest mistakes as a business owner, was trying to please my customers in a way that I knew wasn't really going to please me, and it might not have been good for the business. And then even as I realized I just wasted a lot of money on this product, I'm not going to get a return of investment on this, I was like, well, I didn't want to do it. You know, these are my thoughts right away. Well, I didn't want to do it, just other people wanted it, and I was just trying. No. Point blank, no. It doesn't matter. No one else made that decision to come out with that product. No one else put the product together. No one else put the purchase order together. No one else did that. That was all me. So even if I see comments coming in of people saying that they want something, if I don't feel like it's a good fit for my brand personally, if I don't feel passionate about it, it is ultimately my decision to say no to something. Of course, I value any feedback that comes in, and I find feedback really helpful. But if it's something that I don't feel like is a good fit, or something that, again, I don't feel like I can make a profit on, because that is a point of owning a business, is to actually make profit with it as well, and to be able to reinvest back into your business, and then hopefully one day be able to pay yourself as well. But again, it ultimately boils down to, that is my decision. And I felt like even at this time last year, and you know, I'm in my mid-30s, I still wanted to push the blame on other people. And not like I was going to be like emailing my customers or anything like that, being like, no, don't. Like, it's just in my own mind, in my own thoughts. And I'm like, Samantha, that was you, that was your choice, that was your decision. You can't be sitting here and blaming other people, but even in your own mind, you have to realize, you have to put it in your journal and mark it as like, I rushed it, I didn't do enough, I didn't do my research well enough, I didn't look at inventory numbers close enough. And I have to chalk that up as a fail as a business owner, and that just is what it is. I would rather look at failures, even business failures, personal failures. I don't even know if I want to use the word failures, because there's nothing wrong with trying things, and if they don't work out, now you know. And maybe if I hadn't made that mistake with this product, maybe I would have made it with something that was going to be even bigger, even costlier to me, and would have been even more of a detriment to my business. That could have happened if I didn't already learn this lesson for myself. So I think that there's a lot of ways to look at that, and that's something that I talk about quite a bit with my one-on-one clients, is say you want to try something and it doesn't work out for you, don't look at it as a failure. Look at it as you now realize that that doesn't work for you. I especially talk to a lot of women about fitness. Say you decide that you want to try yoga, and you start yoga and you're like, I can't get into this, I don't like it, I dread doing yoga every single day. Okay, so maybe you tried it for 2 weeks and it's not for you. That's not a failure. That's just you understanding that's not your personal workout style. That's not the workout that fits well with you. And then you get to try something else. And now you know. Now you know no, yoga's not your thing. Now you know maybe you need something more fast-paced or something with more cardio or whatever it may be. We don't have to look at that as failures. So that's just a little bit about being a people pleaser, taking personal responsibility, not hiding behind your actions, having good communication. This is something that I still myself am very actively working on. And sometimes, again, my first thought, I feel like I will always have the first thought of how can I make other people happy first. I put other people's happiness before my own over and over and over again. And I know that that's something that I have to work on. I know I have to work on myself, my boundaries, protecting myself, protecting my peace, and making myself happy. And I can't just continue to be like, well, I'm just a people pleaser, I want everyone to be happy. Okay, great. Like, that's good. Like, that's good. I genuinely, I know I'm a good person. And I know that I do truly want the others around me to be happy and to thrive and to find their own success in whatever way that means to them. But it doesn't have to come at the expense of hurting myself or potentially causing me to have a grudge against someone or me to get upset with someone, sometimes without even communicating with them, and because I'm trying to make them happy, but I'm just guessing of how to make them happy. So yeah, those are just a few things I wanted to cover for today. I don't feel like I have much more to say on this topic, just because it's something that I truly am still working on myself. It's something that I'm still talking to my therapist about. It's something that I've started to open up with my friends, to say like, hey, this is something that I'm working on. I think a really beautiful thing, and I don't know if it just comes with being in your 30s now, or if it's just the day and age of social media and how much more we interact with each other and we hear each other's like inner thoughts, because we wake up and we share our day on TikTok and what we're thinking. We have car chats and all of that. But I just feel like there's such an easier way now to talk to my friends about things that really matter. Talk to them about mental health, talk to them about careers, talk to them about things like our volunteer work, talk to them about, like today I was just telling my friends about all the investments that I made today, all the financial investments that I made. And I think that that's a really cool thing, and that it's very important. So it's really nice to be able to open up to my friends to say, hey, this is something that I think I actively struggle with and I'm trying to work on. And now I get to have my inner circle also kind of understand that this is a communication style that I'm working on, and maybe I'm gonna put myself first a little bit more. Some things might seem outside of the norm for me, but it's something that I'm trying to see personal self-growth from. So I think that's a really awesome thing. So I just wanted to come on and kind of share some of those thoughts and what I'm kind of actively working on at the moment. And also just to see, when I posted some of the shorts on the people pleaser videos, they had a lot of comments and a lot of people saying that you feel the same way, or you kind of go through some of the same things. And I thought that that was really interesting. So I thought maybe I'm not alone in this. So even though this is probably just going to be around a 20-minute podcast episode versus some of my longer 40 minutes to an hour ones, I still thought maybe it would be an interesting topic to discuss. And if you have any comments to share, I hope that you will share them on the YouTube video, or again, you can always DM me or comment on Instagram, which is by Samantha March. And I'm curious to get your feedback on this one. I feel like there was, in a short episode, I feel like there was still kind of a lot to unpack. So I hope you enjoyed listening and perhaps watching to this episode of Start Inspired, and I'll see you in the next one.